Have you ever found yourself completely stranded in transit, just dragging heavy luggage under a blazing sun, wishing there was, I don't know, a better way to actually get to your destination? Well, today we're exploring exactly that. We're looking at how to transform a deeply frustrating, exhausting travel commute into a genuinely clever, community-driven solution. You are absolutely going to love the ingenious system we're unpacking today.
To understand this solution, we're going to follow the stages of the journey. First up, a personal story, which leads into the difficult journey itself. Then we'll hit the saving idea, break down exactly how the system works, look at some everyday examples, and finally, see how it goes from a standard taxi to a minibus.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1, a personal story, the emotional roots of a logistical problem. Every great logistical fix usually begins with a very human problem, right? Our story today centers around Dr. Apostolos Papasilakis. Now, he lives in Germany, but as this quote captures, his roots, and really his heart, are firmly planted in Eritrea, on the beautiful Greek island of Evia. For years, traveling back to Greece was this simple, cherished ritual for him. He'd fly into the old Hellinikon airport in Athens, and arriving wasn't some high-stress logistical puzzle. It was a homecoming.
Back in the day, the second he landed, his dad would be right there waiting to pick him up. His mom and his younger brother Nikos were always there too. They'd all just cram into this tiny little Fiat. The three guys would be smoking, while his mom just kind of affectionately put up with it. It was effortless, you know? It was warm, it was family. But, well, reality happens. His father passed away. His brother Nikos tried to take over those airport runs, but Nikos is a busy dentist now with a thriving practice and a family of his own. So that warm nostalgia of an effortless family pickup, that vanished. And it was replaced by the sudden, harsh reality of having to navigate the whole journey to the vacation home entirely alone.
Which brings us to part 2, the difficult journey, navigating the solo commute.
So, when family help isn't an option, what looks on a map like a pretty short, straightforward trip to Eritrea instantly morphs into this grueling, high-stress, all-day project. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the exact anatomy of this travel exhaustion. Think about it. First, you take the metro to Thessaloniki, often dealing with agonizingly long waits. Then, you're looking at a 20-minute walk, and you're dragging heavy luggage, suffocating in the oppressive Greek summer heat, just to reach the bus station at Petidouan to Areos. Then, you board a bus to Skala Oropu, and finally, the last leg, a 20-minute ferry ride to Eritrea. Literally, every single step is a ticking clock. Is the metro running late? Is the heat slowing you down? Because if you miss a connection by just 2 minutes, that ferry is gone, and the agonizing wait starts all over again.
Have you ever been sitting on a delayed bus, just sweating, completely exhausted, and asked yourself, am I the only one going through this right now? For Dr. Papasilakis, this question was the pivot point. He realized the answer was a resounding no. No way was he alone. Every single day, countless travelers land at Athens Airport facing this exact same nightmare, simultaneously. But they are completely isolated from one another.
And that leads us to part 3, the saving idea, connecting isolated travelers. That realization, that was the ultimate aha moment. It was an idea born purely out of exhaustion and uncertainty. There were all these other people at the airport, heading to the exact same destination at the exact same time, and they had absolutely no idea the others existed. What if there was a way to connect them? And just like that, an elegant solution was born. TaxiSplit.eu. This platform was created for one precise reason, bringing those isolated travelers together. Instead of everyone fighting their own lonely, stressful battle across trains and buses and ferries, they could simply team up, share a comfortable taxi, split the cost, and, actually enjoy the ride. It's an instant relief to a massive headache.
So, how do we get these strangers connected efficiently? Let's look at part 4, how the system works, the logic behind the matching.
The crucial point is the absolute simplicity of the system. You just hop onto the free platform and enter 4 basic things: your arrival airport, your destination, the date, and your approximate arrival time. That's it. Once you put that in, the algorithm takes over in the background, and it uses a brilliantly simple metric, the 90-minute window. Simply put, if your arrival time and another traveler's arrival time fall within 90 minutes of each other, the system automatically flags that as a match.
But here is where it gets really smart. It uses a chaining effect. Let's say Traveler A matches with Traveler B. A little later, Traveler C enters the system. Now, C matches with B's time, even though C might fall just slightly outside of A's original 90-minute window. The system brilliantly recognizes this overlap and links A, B, and C together into one cohesive travel group. Once they're linked up, everyone's contact details are shared via email, so you actually get to introduce yourselves and coordinate the meetup before your plane even touches the ground. Oh, and the platform? It only asks for a completely voluntary €4 fee for making the connection, and then it just steps out of the way right as your journey begins.
Let's move to part 5 and see how this builds. Everyday examples, proving the concept.
Let's look at the rule of 3 to demonstrate how beautifully this system scales up in the real world. Scenario 1, a simple pair. Maria from Munich lands in Athens on a Saturday afternoon. She puts her details into the platform. Just 1 hour later, Thomas from Cologne registers. He's landing on a totally different flight, just 40 minutes after Maria, and he's heading to the exact same destination. The system connects them. They meet up, share a taxi, and immediately pay a fraction of what they would have paid struggling on their own. Scenario 2. Let's scale it up to a group of 6. A family of 4 from Vienna is super organized. They book their travel weeks in advance on the platform. Because they booked early, their chances of a match skyrocket. And sure enough, just before their trip, a couple from Berlin registers with an overlapping arrival time. Bam! The algorithm connects them. Suddenly, 2 entirely separate bookings turn into one highly efficient shared ride for 6 people.
Now, scenario 3. Imagine a super busy midsummer Friday in Greece. Travelers are just pouring in. Those 90-minute windows start chaining together, snowballing as more and more people heading to Eritrea register. By the end of the day, sequential matches have perfectly linked together a massive travel group of 15 people. Which naturally brings us to part 6. From taxi to minibus, scaling up the solution. Now I know what you're thinking. 15 people absolutely cannot fit into a standard taxi. And you are 100% right. But that perceived problem is actually the gateway to the platform's true adaptability. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. When travel groups grow past 4 people, the recommended Greek taxi companies don't just send standard cars. They bring in spacious vans and minibuses. So that group of 15, they don't have to split into 4 expensive separate taxis. They all just pile into one comfortable air-conditioned minibus. The direct route completely removes the high stress of missing ferries or hauling luggage around in the sweltering heat. And since they're dividing the cost of one minibus by 15 people, the price per person drops even lower than a standard shared taxi. It's a total win-win.
It is truly incredible, isn't it? How a personal Band-Aid, something born from the loss of a father and the busy schedule of a brother, transformed into this thriving, highly efficient community platform. What used to be a lonely, grueling trek is now this amazing opportunity to connect with fellow travelers and actually arrive refreshed. Register for free. Find fellow travelers. Arrive together. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I have to ask you, how much money, and honestly, how much stress, could you save on your very next trip to Greece?